What is up there everyone, it's the guy from the Gamer Tech here, and today I wanted to talk about Team Deathmatch in Battlefield 4. Now this is a game mode that I don't really play very much. It's simply because it doesn't have consistent flow in my opinion, and I prefer the objective modes because they have more consistency in what you're going to get. If you play Conquest, you get a lot of vehicle warfare with some infantry battles. If you play Rush, you're going to get heavy infantry battles, and in fact I even decided to play hardcore recently. But today I decided to just go and play some deathmatch, have a bit of fun, just not having to worry about objectives. And this game actually started out going pretty well. I couldn't have actually asked for a better start. I was controlling my weapon well, I was winning most of my gunfights, I was actually winning some that I didn't expect to be winning. I was even able to use the sound to my advantage. Now I wasn't even using a headset, but I've realised in Team Deathmatch how valuable footstep sounds are. You can hear them very clearly and you can predict where people are coming from. And it allowed me to get the jump on a lot of people in this match. And I was just having a lot of fun, it was going really well. But as the game started progressing, it just started getting a little bit more inconsistent. I think my second or third death, I just got completely outnumbered and it seemed like the enemy team was spawning around me. And then I hit this other moment where it almost turned into spawn die, because what would happen was I would spawn and there'd be an enemy, I'd shoot the enemy, and then the enemy would respawn behind me and shoot me. And then vice versa, I would spawn behind the enemy and shoot the enemy. And it was just getting absolutely crazy, and it was getting quite frustrating because there was no flow to it, and it was literally just I spawn, enemy spawns, and then whoever happens to be looking at the other first wins the gunfight. And it just got really frustrating. And it's something I really think needs to be looked into for the next Battlefield. Hopefully they've learned some of the lessons from Battlefield 4, and that map design, you need to focus your map onto the game mode that's going to be played. And a lot of the Team Deathmatch maps were really just bolted on. It was, oh, this has got some buildings, we'll put Team Deathmatch over there. And unfortunately the spawns just were really dodgy in this game. Eventually it sorted itself out and it kind of calmed down. But it was just so frustrating that I kept spawning and dying, and there was nothing I could really do about it. I would get one kill, the enemies would immediately know where I was, and there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't pick where I was going to spawn. And I just really think this needs to be looked into how the spawn logic actually works. Because the fact that me and enemies are getting spawned so close to each other is just ludicrous. Although at the same time, I don't think it needs to be so consistent that you can spawn trap. One of the biggest things with this rogue transmission map is the fact that it's very easy to spawn trap people when they're at the sort of farm section where there's the barns and the containers. If you get the enemy team pinned over there, it is very difficult for them to get out. And I think that is the other extreme that I do not want it to go to. There needs to try and be a fine balance. Now I know that is nowhere near as easy as it's saying. It's much easier said than done. But it'd be really good if in the next Battlefield they're able to make some changes and the spawn logic actually made it so you didn't feel like you were just spawning and dying and it didn't make it crazy. This is one of the main reasons why Battlefield Hardline really annoyed some people, is they just couldn't play deathmatch because it literally was team death spawn. You would spawn in and you'd instantly get shot from a completely unknown angle, and that was going to get really frustrating for people. But generally the team deathmatch mode can be fun in small doses. It does still provide some entertaining gameplay that doesn't focus you on objectives, but it's not something I'm going to go to all the time. Firstly because the maps don't really suit it, and also it's just a little bit too inconsistent for me. But generally Battlefield 4 actually is, I've had a resurgence of interest in this game. I hadn't played it for quite a while simply because I didn't feel like there was anything new I could do in the game, because it's been out for about 2.5 years now. But actually I've had a resurgence in interest, and actually I've been having quite a bit of fun with it. What do you think is the best way to balance Team Deathmatch spawns? Do you think it should be kind of chaotic and you're not quite sure what's going to happen, or do you prefer it to be very rigid, you know exactly where people are going to be spawning? I personally lean a little bit more towards it being predictable, but I don't want it so predictable that people can spawn kill and spawn trap, because that will then get even more annoying in my opinion than chaotic spawn. But anyway, this has been the guy with no gamer tag, and I'll see you on another video.